Hey guys, welcome to my channel and to a releases of May book video. This is the not every single book that's being released. These are my top 10 that I'm excited about in regards to the books that will be released in the month of May. So let's jump into it. The first one that I have for you that I am interested in reading is called I'm Afraid You've Got Dragons, which is by Peter S. Beagle. It releases on May 14th. This is a book about a guy named Gaius Aurelius Constantine, he's got a big long name, who inherited his deceased dad's business as a dragon catcher / exterminator. So he lives in a place that has dragons that range from tiny mouse size to castle smashing dragons. And he detests the career. He does not like it because he actually likes dragons. He feels a kinship for it. So this is by the author who wrote The Last Unicorn, if I'm remembering correctly, which got turned, I think it got turned into a movie, like an animated movie, if I remember. So anyway, he's the author of that book. And this looks like it's going to be a fun fantasy, maybe like cozy fantasy type book. And that is my favorite genre. So I'm interested in picking that one up. The next one is called The Dangerous Ones, which is by Lauren Blackwood. This also releases May 14th. And it is about an alternative reality from our own where vampires are real, and it takes place in the Civil War era. So it's about a girl named Jerusalem who's out to get revenge on the people that enslaved her. I think it was vampires that enslaved her. And she teams up with a vampire named Alexei and to combat the Confederacy, first of all, and the ancient vampires that are working with, because most vampires liked what was going on during that time because they were into that sort of thing, I guess. I don't know. But together, she and Alexei set out to change the course of the war that's happening, the Civil War. And matters of the heart happen too. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops. So it looks like it'll be an interesting read. I'm looking forward to that one. So that's May 14th as well, The Dangerous Ones. The next one is a rom-com type book called Attached at the Hip. And this is by Christine Riccio, who is actually on a booktuber here on YouTube. I've been watching her for, I don't even know how many years now. Back when I first fell in love with the Twilight series, that's how long it's been, I was watching her, and she started writing books on her own. This is her third book. I have read her first book. I haven't gotten around to reading her second one, but this is her third book, and it seems like it'll be super fun. It's about a girl named Ori Lennox who decides she doesn't know where she's going with her life. She's not finding joy in anything that's happening, even with her new job and her relationship with her sister. So she decides to go to apply for this reality show. And then she gets accepted to the reality show, and come to find out she gets cast in this experimental version of the show that ends up being kind of like Survivor meets The Bachelor. And the pairings, so they're put in pairings, I guess, and they have to be, they're attached to the hip by like this rope or something, where they're on this rope together. And the person that she's put with is her high school crush. It ends up being her high school crush that she hasn't seen in forever. So they have to compete in challenges and, you know, I'm sure they'll fall in love, that sort of thing. So it seems like a super fun read for sure. So I'm excited to read that one because I did enjoy her first book, which was called Again But Better. So I do highly recommend that one. That one is fun. Okay, the next one I have, oh, did I say the date? That was May 21st, that one comes out. The next one is When Among Crows, which is by Veronica Roth, who wrote the Divergent series. And this one releases May 14th. This is actually like a novella rather than a full-on novel. It's based on, I can't remember, it's like a Polish or a Russian myth of some kind, something like that. But it's about a guy named Demeter. Let me just read it. His family is one in a long line of hunters who sacrifice their souls to slay monsters. So now he's tasked with a deadly mission to find the witch Baba Yaga. And to reach her, he must ally himself with one that he's been sworn to kill. And then this girl is the one that he's sworn to kill. She is a fear-eating Zamora, which I would think that fear-eating, that would be a good thing rather than a monstrous thing, but we'll see. So she awaits death for the curse that she carries. And then when Demeter offers her a cure in exchange for her help, she has no choice but to agree. So it seems like it'll be an interesting read for sure. And it takes place, I guess, kind of in modern age, because then it says they must fight against time and the wrath of Chicago underworld. So at least kind of, maybe not now time, but, you know, sometime around since Chicago's been around at least. So it'll be an interesting read for sure. And it's, like I said, a novella, so it won't be a very long one. Okay, next one is The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren, and this releases May 14th. I enjoy Christina Lauren's books for the most part. They're fun, rom-com, chicklet type books. Some of them get a little too spicy for me, but for the most part, they're fun books for me. So this one is about Anna Green, and she thought that she was marrying Liam Weston for access to subsidized housing while she was at UCLA to be able to, you know, get in on those discounts. And she thinks that she has signed divorce papers to be done with the marriage. And then 3 years later, come to find out that the marriage was actually never divorced. You know, they weren't ever divorced. And West, the guy, to inherit his grandfather's conglomerate, I guess their grocery store, right? Yeah, corporation type of thing. There is a clause in his will, in his grandfather's will, that says he has to be happily married for at least 5 years. And so he finds out about that he's still married to, what was her name again? Anna. And, you know, so it's that whole fake marriage to real love type of trope that I that's one of my favorite tropes, is that trope. So it'll be fun to see where this one goes. Okay, next one is called Love at First Book. This is by Jen McKinley, and it releases May 14th. So it's about a librarian named Emily Allen. She's a librarian in Martha's Vineyard, and she travels to Ireland to meet her favorite author. who's been her favorite author since she was a kid. And while she's there, she's helping Siobhan Reardon, who is the author, write her final book in her acclaimed series after a 10-year hiatus. And while she's there helping the author, she meets the author's son, Kieran, who is a grumpy like bookstore owner, I guess, runs the bookstore there. He manages Siobhan's bookstore. And, it's the whole grumpy / sunshine trope, I'm sure. And we'll see where the hijinks go from that. That looks like it'll be a fun book. And I'm always down, as someone who loves books and libraries and all that, I'm always down for books that have to do with libraries and books. So, okay, next is one called 5 Broken Blades. This is by Mai Corland, and it releases May 7th. I'm thinking it's Mai, maybe May, but usually AI is Mai. So this one is about 5 liars / assassins that go to kill this super powerful god king named June. And they all are hired to kill him and to, seek vengeance and revenge. And in that, they then have to decide from that point who's going to take the crown, if they're able to kill the king who's going to become the next king or queen type of thing. So because there can only be one. So we'll see where that goes. Seems like it'll be fun, suspenseful for sure, type of fantasy book. So next is called All's Fair in Love and War. And this is by Virginia Heath. And it comes out May 28th. And this is a Regency style romance about a man named Harry Kincaid who hires a governess to watch out for his nieces and nephews. I'm not sure if it's all nieces or all nephews, because his sister went to off to be with her husband on an Egyptian dig or something like that. So he goes and hires a governess, and her name is Georgie Rowe, and she's very bohemian, wants kids to be able to have their lives filled with laughter and adventure, that sort of thing. Whereas he's by the book, I'm imagining I can't remember his name, but the husband in Sound of Music, that type of thing. And so we got a grumpy and sunshine type of dynamic going on again, which again, I really enjoy. So we'll see how that ends up going. And then we have one called Dreadful. This one is by Caitlin Rozakis. It comes out May 28th. And this one, it looks like it's going to be a very entertaining, cozy type of fantasy novel. Let's see. It's bad enough waking up in a half-destroyed evil wizard's workshop with no eyebrows, no memories, and no idea how long you've been there before the dread lord, whomever, shows up to murder you horribly and turn your skull into a goblet or something. It's a lot worse when you realize that dread lord whomever is you. So this guy who's this dread lord, he wakes up with no memory of anything. And then he realizes that nothing is what it seems. And he must face up to all the things that the dread lord Gavrax has done. So what things that he had done. And then he'll ask himself the hardest question: what does he want to be? So it's a high fantasy farce filled with killer moat squid, toxic masculinity, an evil wizard convocation, and a garlic festival. all at once. So Dreadlord Gavrax has had better week. So that seems like it'll be a very fun fantasy, cozy vibe. So that'll be fun. And then the last one is called The Ministry of Time, and this is by Kayleigh Bradley. It comes out May 7th. So this is kind of like a sci-fi fantasy, I think. Well, kind of sci-fi fiction. In the near future, a civil servant is offered a salary of her dreams and is shortly afterwards told what project she'll be working on. A recently established government ministry is gathering expats from across history to establish whether time travel is feasible for the body, but also for the fabric of space-time. So she's tasked to work as a bridge, living with, assisting, and monitoring an expat called 1847, or known as Commander Graham Gore, who lived during the time of a doomed expedition to the Arctic in 1845. So he's got to adjust to living in like modern type of times with a lady who is definitely not the type of ladies that he's used to in modern day times. And so it's about, they've come to find out what exactly is really happening, what the ministry's project truly is about, and love happens and probably thrilling stuff happens. So that one sounds like it'll be a fun one. So it says, what does it mean to defy history when history is living in your house? So that one will be an interesting one. And then what is it called? An honorable mention. It comes out on April 30th. So it's the day before May, but I'm just including it because of that, since it's so close to the end. I'm interested in a book called Miss Morgan's Book Brigade, which is based on true events. This is a fiction book, but it's based on a true event. So 1918, as the Great War rages, Jessie Carson takes leave of absence in the New York Public Library to work for the American Committee for Devastated France, founded by millionaire Anne Morgan. This group of international women help rebuild destroyed French communities just miles from the front. So it's about, she helps establish libraries, children's libraries, and helps in whatever way she can after that would be World War I. But then she disappears. And then in 1987, a New York public librarian and aspiring writer, Wendy Peterson, stumbles across a passing reference to Jessie Carson in the archives. She becomes consumed with learning her fate. In her obsessive research, she discovers that she and the elusive librarian have more in common than the work for New York's famed library, but she has no idea their paths will converge in surprising ways across time. So it is based, like I said, it's based on actual events, on extraordinary little-known history of the women who received the Croix de Guerre. I'm sorry, I don't speak French. Hopefully that's right. I apologize if I'm not saying it right. I'm butchering it. Medal for Courage Under Fire. Miss Morgan's Book Brigade is a tribute to the resilience of the human spirit, the power of literature, and ultimately the courage it takes to make a change. So that one will be out April 30th. So it was an honorable mention. So hopefully maybe one of those sounds like something that you would be interested in reading. But those were my highlights in regards to what was coming out in May. So thanks for spending some time with me. I appreciate all you guys. Until next time, TTFN. Ta-ta for now.